I opened my eyes to the soft hum of sunlight leaking through the curtains. Emily stirred beside me, her hair messy, her breathing slow. Today was her 30th birthday. I smiled, reaching out to brush a strand from her face. "Happy birthday, sleepyhead," I whispered. She mumbled something under her breath, not even waking up. I laughed quietly and slid out of bed, careful not to wake her. I had plans, big ones. Downstairs, the kitchen was already a mess. Balloons, streamers, the works. Jake was supposed to help me later, but I was too excited to wait. I tapped my phone. "Jake." "Meet you at noon," I texted back. "Don't be late, man. She deserves the best." While waiting for the coffee to brew, I found myself grinning like an idiot. 10 years with Emily. 10 years of love, fights, making up, building a life. She was my best friend, my everything. Footsteps creaked above. She was up. "Daniel," she called out. "In the kitchen," I shouted, trying to hide the decorations behind me like a fool. Emily walked in, rubbing her eyes. She wore that oversized blue sweatshirt she loved. "What's all the noise?" "Nothing," I said too quickly. "Just making breakfast." She eyed me suspiciously. "You're a terrible liar," I shrugged. "Maybe, but you still married me." She smiled, small, distracted. I hesitated. Something about her felt off. Maybe it was just birthday nerves. 30 was a big deal. "I love you, you know," I said, handing her a coffee mug. She took it but barely looked at me. "Yeah, thanks, babe." "Thanks?" I shook the thought away. She probably didn't want to get older. "Who did?" "So," I said, leaning on the counter. "Any birthday wishes?" She sipped her coffee, staring out the window. "Maybe just a quiet day." I laughed. "Not happening," she glanced at me. "Why not?" "Because," I said, stepping closer, "I have something special planned." Her smile froze. "And you didn't have to." "Of course I did. You're my wife, my world." She looked down. "You're too good to me." "Is that a bad thing?" "No," she said quickly. "Hey, it's just, I don't deserve it sometimes." I frowned. "Hey, none of that. You deserve everything." Before she could respond, my phone buzzed again. "Jake, got the cake, heading over." I shoved the phone back into my pocket. "So," I said, forcing the cheer back into my voice, "go get dressed. I have breakfast and a day full of surprises waiting." She hesitated. "Daniel, seriously?" "No arguments." I kissed her forehead. "You're the birthday queen today." She laughed softly, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. By noon, Jake and Sophie arrived. Jake stumbled in, juggling a massive cake box and 3 shopping bags. "Bro!" Jake yelled. "This thing weighs a ton." I rushed over, grabbing the cake before he dropped it. Sophie followed, tossing her hair over her shoulder. "Someone needs to teach him balance." Emily appeared at the top of the stairs, dressed casually but stunning as ever. Sophie squealed and ran up to hug her. "Happy birthday, Em." Emily smiled and hugged her back. "Thanks, Soph." Jake smirked. 30, huh? Officially old." Emily rolled her eyes. "Says the guy who pulled a muscle sneezing last week." I laughed. She's not wrong. Jake threw a hand over his heart. "Betrayal, on her birthday, no less." Emily's laugh rang out more genuine this time. Maybe I'd imagined the weird vibe earlier. Okay, I said, clapping my hands. "We've got balloons to hang and a party to prep. Let's move." Sophie pulled out a list. "I brought the streamers and party hats. Also, Mun, I may have invited a few more people." "How many is a few?" Emily asked, eyes widening. Sophie winked. "You'll see." Emily gave me a look. I shrugged innocently. "Blame her, not me." Emily sighed dramatically. "You guys are impossible." Jake handed her a party hat shaped like a crown. "Deal with it, Your Highness." Emily put it on, laughing for real now. My heart eased. This was how it was supposed to be. As we worked, I caught moments. Emily chatting with Sophie, Jake wrestling with the banner, Emily's eyes flickering to her phone more times than I liked. I pulled Jake aside. "Hey, she's been kinda weird lately, right?" Jake shrugged. "She's probably just stressed, dude. Turning 30 freaks people out." "Yeah," I muttered. "Maybe." But a sliver of doubt lodged itself in my chest. "Hey!" Jake said, punching my arm lightly. Stop overthinking. Tonight's gonna be epic. I forced a smile. Yeah, epic. Emily's laughter floated across the room. I told myself everything was fine. I wanted so badly to believe it. I balanced the cake box on one hand while fumbling for my keys with the other. The bakery door slammed shut behind me, and the smell of frosting still clung to my jacket. My phone buzzed. I glanced at it. Just Jake sending a meme. I chuckled and stuffed it back into my pocket. Then I saw it. Emily's tablet was sitting in the passenger seat. She must have left it there this morning when she took my car to the gym. The screen lit up. Unknown number. Can't wait to see you again tonight, beautiful. My heart stuttered. I stared at the message, my fingers frozen on the keys. It had to be a mistake, a scam, something stupid. Emily got random messages all the time. Set the cake carefully on the seat and picked up the tablet. Another message popped up. Unknown number. Last night was amazing. Still thinking about you, my stomach twisted. No, I whispered. No way. I tapped the screen, hands shaking. The preview of the thread showed emojis, hearts, kisses, late-night meetups. My breath caught in my throat. I could feel my pulse. In my ears, loud and deafening. Just look away, I muttered. It's nothing. It's probably nothing. But I couldn't. My thumb hovered over the message thread. One tap, and I'd know everything. One tap, and there would be no going back. I gripped the steering wheel with my free hand, trying to steady myself. Don't be crazy, I said under my breath. She loves you. You're her husband. You're overthinking. The tablet vibrated again. Unknown. Number. Don't forget the plan. I'll be waiting. My world tilted. I closed my eyes for a second, breathing hard through my nose. Logic fought denial in my head. Maybe it was a prank. Maybe it was someone she knew joking around. Maybe... I forced my hand to move, opened the camera, took a screenshot, then another. And another. Each snap of the screen sounded louder than a gunshot. I quickly emailed the screenshots to myself, labeling it something boring so Emily wouldn't notice if she checked. Done. I dropped the tablet onto the seat like it had burned me. My hands shook. My heart slammed against my ribs so hard I thought it might crack them. I sat there, staring out the windshield, watching people walk by, laughing, living their normal, uncomplicated lives. Maybe it's not what it looks like. I whispered, but even saying it out loud sounded stupid. I rubbed my hands over my face. You don't know anything yet, you're not sure. The lies I told myself tasted bitter. The thought of asking her danced through my mind. Just ask. Just confront her. She'll laugh it off. She'll explain. But a darker voice in my head said, what if she doesn't? I couldn't ruin her birthday. I couldn't ruin everything we had and over a few stupid texts. Could I? I grabbed the steering wheel, squeezing until my knuckles turned white. Later, I said to myself. Later. Not today. The cake sat next to me, bright and colorful, mocking me. I started the engine, my hands still trembling. The whole drive home, my mind screamed at me to turn around, to dig deeper, to rip the Band-Aid off. But my heart just wanted to pretend. When I pulled into the driveway, I sat there for a full minute before getting out. The front door opened. Emily stood there, smiling wide, waving at me like nothing was wrong, plastered a smile on my face. Hey, birthday girl, I called out, forcing cheer into my voice. She laughed and jogged down the steps. You didn't drop the cake, did you? Nope. Safe and sound, I said, holding it up. She kissed my cheek. You're the best. The best, right? I swallowed hard. You okay? She asked, frowning slightly. Yeah, I lied. Just tired. She grabbed the cake and walked inside, humming a happy tune. I followed, feeling like a ghost in my own life. Inside, the house buzzed with decorations and plans. Outside, the sun shone like it was any other day. Inside me, something had cracked, and I wasn't sure it could be fixed. Happy birthday, Emily. Voices shouted from every corner as we pushed through the door. Balloons floated above, streamers hung like vines, and laughter filled the room. Emily gasped, covering her mouth. Oh my God! Daniel, you did all this? I smiled tightly. You deserve it. She threw her arms around my neck, hugging me like nothing was wrong. I love you so much. Love you too, I muttered, the words tasting wrong. Jake clapped me on the back. You're the man, bro. She looks like she's gonna cry. Sophie bounced over, handing Emily a glittery tiara. Come on, birthday queen. Crown time. Emily laughed, slipping it on. Her smile was wide, perfect, too perfect. I watched her scan the room, almost like she was searching for someone. Nathan appeared at her side, drink in hand, flashing his signature smirk. Look at you, Em. You're glowing. Emily laughed lightly. Flatterer. I tensed. Jake grabbed a plate of snacks. Dude, relax, it's a party. Yeah, I said, forcing a grin. Just tired. Nathan clinked his glass against Emily's. To 30, and to being more beautiful than ever. Stop it, Emily said, giggling, brushing his arm lightly. My fists clenched at my sides. I stepped closer. Having fun? Emily turned to me, her face lighting up like a stage actor hitting their cue. The best, I can't believe you did all this. Nathan raised an eyebrow at me. You set the bar high, man. I shrugged. She's worth it. Emily's laugh sounded a beat too loud. Sophie dragged her toward the photo booth. Come on, birthday girl. Pictures before you get too tipsy. As Emily walked away, Nathan leaned in toward me. You're lucky, bro. She's a real catch. I stared at him, searching his face for something, guilt, nerves, anything. He just sipped his drink, casual, cool. I forced a nod. Yeah, I know. The night blurred with greetings, laughter, music pumping through my skull. I kept my eyes on Emily. She danced with Sophie, posed for pictures, hugged friends, but every few minutes she glanced at her phone. Every single time. She smiled, that perfect fake smile. Jake handed me a beer. Seriously, man, you okay? Yeah, I said, eyes never leaving Emily. Just watching. Jake laughed. You're acting like her bodyguard. Maybe I am. Nathan slid past, bumping my shoulder. Lighten up, Danny boy. It's a party. I nodded stiffly. When the cake came out, everyone sang at the top of their lungs. Emily closed her eyes to make a wish. I found myself whispering under my breath, "Please be a nightmare." She blew out the candles, and the room erupted in cheers. Pictures. More pictures. She posed with Sophie, with Jake, even with Nathan, his arm a little too comfortable around her shoulders. I walked up, slipping my hand around her waist. Mind if I steal my wife for a second? I said, a little sharper than intended. Emily blinked up at me. Of course not, babe. I led her out onto the porch where the noise dulled. She leaned against the railing, looking up at the stars. You okay? She asked. I studied her face, the way her eyes avoided mine. I should be asking you that. She laughed lightly. Just overwhelmed. You know me. Not good with attention. I nodded slowly. You keep checking your phone. She stiffened. Work stuff. On your birthday. She shrugged. Deadlines don't care about birthdays. I swallowed hard. You're sure everything's okay? Her smile flashed, quick and dazzling. Everything's perfect. Thanks. To you. I wanted so badly to believe her. To erase the messages burning a hole in my memory. Good, I said, even though it felt like lying to myself. Behind us, someone called her name. Nathan's voice. Emily squeezed my hand. Come inside, don't be so serious. I followed her in, feeling like I was drowning in a room full of people. As she melted back into the crowd, laughing, dancing, glowing under the lights, I realized something horrible. I didn't know if I was watching my wife, or a stranger pretending to be her. The house was dead silent except for the sound of running water upstairs. Emily was in the shower. I sat on the couch, staring at the black screen of the TV, my hands shaking in my lap. My heart hammered against my ribs. I shouldn't. I really shouldn't. But my body moved before my mind could stop it. I grabbed her phone from the coffee table. Locked. I stared at the screen. One wrong move and everything could shatter. I hesitated. Then my thumb hovered over the familiar digits of her birthday. 11:22. Click, it unlocked. The air rushed out of my lungs. I scrolled through her messages, my fingers moving fast, desperate. Scared work group chat. Sophie, Mom. Then Nathan. I opened it. My stomach dropped. You looked so damn good tonight. Couldn't keep my eyes off you. I wish we could sneak away now. I need you. My hand trembled. Photos followed. Selfies at parties, blurry snapshots in dim rooms, a picture of Emily in a dress I had never seen her wear for me. I kept scrolling, even when every part of me screamed to stop. Last night was incredible. You're everything I ever wanted. My vision blurred. I squeezed my eyes shut, forcing back the sting. The shower kept running upstairs. She was singing faintly, happy, carefree. Wanted to scream. Instead, I hit the share button, emailed everything to myself. Pictures, messages, dates, cold mechanical. When it was done, I wiped the phone clean of any signs I'd been there. I set it back down exactly where I found it. Then I sat there, frozen, betrayed, broken. The water stopped. Footsteps moved across the floor upstairs. I couldn't breathe. Daniel, Emily called down. You coming up? I cleared my throat, trying to sound normal. Yeah, be there in a minute. Okay, she chirped. I wiped my hands on my jeans even though they weren't wet. The couch felt like quicksand, sucking me in. Nathan, Jake's brother, my best friend's brother. A face that had smiled at me, joked with me, called me family. A face that had slept with my wife. I pressed my palms against my eyes, blocking out the world. I heard her footsteps again, lighter now. Daniel? Her voice was closer. I jumped up. Yeah, just checking some emails. She appeared at the bottom of the stairs, hair wet, skin glowing. Come to bed, she said softly. I forced a smile. Be right there. She smiled back. That perfect. Innocent smile and disappeared. I sat back down, the lies piling up so fast I could barely breathe. Was every kiss fake? Every hug? Every time she said she loved me? Was she thinking about him? I clenched my fists until my nails dug into my palms. Could confront her right now, scream, demand answers, watch her lie. But a colder part of me whispered, not yet. I needed time. I needed to think. I needed to be sure. I needed to survive this. I leaned forward, resting my head in my hands. The smell of her shampoo drifted down the stairs. I used to love that smell. Now it made me sick. The tablet sat on the coffee table too. Screen dark. I didn't touch it. I already knew enough. I stood up slowly, every muscle in my body stiff. I walked to the stairs. Every step felt heavier than the last. At the top, I paused, hand on the banister. Daniel. Emily's voice drifted from the bedroom. I swallowed hard. Yeah? Everything okay? I took a deep breath. Yeah, I lied. Everything's perfect. Because tonight wasn't the night. Tonight I needed to play my part. Smile. Pretend wait. Because when the truth came out, it was going to tear everything apart. And this time I was going to be ready. Morning, babe, Emily said, setting a cup of coffee in front of me. Thanks, I muttered. She kissed my cheek lightly, like she always did. I barely felt it. Are you okay? She asked, grabbing a plate from the counter. Yeah, just tired. Long week, huh? Yeah. She sat across from me, scrolling through her phone, smiling now and then at something I couldn't see. Every smile felt like a knife. I stared into my coffee, memories flashing like broken film reels. Our wedding, her promises, the way she cried when she said she'd love me forever. Forever. What a joke. Daniel, I looked up. You're really quiet, she said, tilting her head. I'm fine. You sure? Yeah. She went back to her phone, humming under her breath. I watched her fingers move fast across the screen, texting, deleting, laughing. I forced myself to look away. I needed to breathe. I needed to not lose it. Later that day, I sat across from my mom at her kitchen table, poking at a piece of pie she made. How you look like hell, she said bluntly. I forced a laugh. Thanks, Mom. I'm serious, Danny. What's going on? Nothing. Don't lie to me. I know you're nothing face, I shrugged. Just work stress. Work, huh? She narrowed her eyes. Or Emily? Flinched. Too fast, she caught it. What happened? Nothing happened. Bull, I dropped the fork, pushing the plate away. I can't talk about it. Daniel. Her voice softened. Whatever it is, that you don't have to carry it alone. I clenched my jaw. I'm fine. You're not. I looked at her hands, hands that raised me, comforted me, taught me to be strong. Now they looked small, helpless, just like I felt. I ran a hand through my hair. I need time. She reached across the table, squeezing my hand. Take all the time you need, but don't drown in it, okay? I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. That night I lay in bed beside Emily. She snuggled into me like nothing was wrong, whispering goodnight. I stared at the ceiling. My mind screamed, leave, stay, fight, forgive, destroy, save. The thoughts clawed at me until I couldn't tell what was real anymore. Her breathing evened out, soft and peaceful. Mine stayed shallow, ragged. I turned my head, watching her sleep. The woman I married, the woman who broke me. A tear slipped down my cheek before I could stop it. I wiped it away fast, as if even that tiny crack would betray me. In the dark, I made a silent promise. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'd decide. Tomorrow. I'd stop bleeding, one way or another. I sat on the couch staring at the TV. The screen was black. My hands gripped the sides of the cushion so hard they hurt. Emily walked in, barefoot, hair tied up, wearing my favorite sweatshirt. Hey, she said, plopping down beside me. Want to order Chinese? I didn't move, Daniel. She nudged my arm. I turned my head slowly. We need to talk. She blinked. Okay. About what? I swallowed the lump in my throat. About you. About Nathan. She stiffened. I saw it. Plain as day. What about Nathan? She asked, too quickly. I stared at her, hard. You're gonna make me say it? Her laugh was forced. Daniel, you're not making sense. I leaned forward, elbows on my knees. You've been lying to me. That's ridiculous. I saw the texts. Her face paled. I saw everything, Emily. Silence slammed. Into the room. She opened her mouth, closed it. Finally, Daniel, it's not what you think. I barked a hollow laugh. Then please enlighten me. Tears filled her eyes instantly. I made a mistake. I shook my head. A mistake. Which part? The texts? The sneaking around? Sleeping with him? Her hand flew to her mouth. Please don't say it like that. Say it like what? I snapped. Like the truth? She reached for me. I pulled away. Daniel, I was lonely, she cried. You've been distant for months. I stared at her in disbelief. You're blaming me. I'm not. She broke off, sobbing. I didn't mean for it to happen. You didn't. Mean to cheat on me with my best friend's brother. She buried her face in her hands. I was scared. I felt invisible. Invisible, I repeated, the word tasting like acid. So you decided to sleep with someone else. It wasn't like that. Then tell me, I demanded. Tell me what it was like. She sobbed harder, choking on her own breath. I stood up, pacing. I gave you everything, I said, everything, and you threw it away like it was nothing. I didn't want to hurt you, she whispered. Well, congratulations, I said bitterly. You nailed it. Her phone buzzed on the coffee table. Nathan, I froze. She lunged for it, but I was faster. I snatched it up and answered. Emily? Nathan's voice came through, shaky. No, I said coldly. It's Daniel. Dead silence. Nathan, I said, my voice low. Dangerous. You're a coward. Daniel, listen. You betrayed me, I hissed. You smiled in my face while stabbing me in the back. I didn't mean for it to go that far. Save it, I cut him off. You meant every second, he stammered. Man, it just happened. You're dead to me. Click. I threw the phone on the couch. Emily flinched. I turned to her, breathing hard. You and him? Both of you? You're nothing to me now. She collapsed onto the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. Please, Daniel, don't leave me. I stared at her, the woman I thought I knew, shattered on the floor. You already left me, I said quietly, the moment you chose him. She crawled toward me, clutching my leg. We can fix this. We can go to counseling, please. I pried her hands off me gently, like removing broken glass from a wound. I'm done. Her screams followed me as I walked upstairs. Every step I took felt heavier than the last. I shut the bedroom door behind me, locked it, and leaned against it. I slid down slowly until I was sitting on the floor, my head in my hands. Everything. Hurt. Everything was broken, but for the first time in days I could finally breathe. Jake slammed his beer down on the table so hard the bottle almost shattered. "I'm gonna kill him," he growled. I didn't flinch. "You should stay out of it," I said, staring at the wood grain. Jake leaned in. "He slept with your wife, Daniel. My brother. My freaking brother." "I know." "You don't sound mad enough." I laughed bitterly. "I'm past mad." Jake cursed under his breath, pacing the small patio. "Dad's losing it. He called a family meeting." "Good luck with that." Jake kicked a chair. "Nathan's dead to me. To all of us." I sipped my drink, the taste like ash in my mouth. Jake stopped, pacing. "What are you gonna do?" "Already did it," I said. "I kicked her out." He shook his head. "Man, I still can't believe it." "Emily?" I looked up at him. "Believe it." Later that night, my phone rang. "Mom, I let it go to voicemail." A text buzzed in right after. "We're here if you need anything. Love you." I stared at it until the screen faded black. The next day, Sophie cornered me at the grocery store. "Daniel," she called, jogging up in heels. I froze. "Hey, Soph," she frowned. "You okay?" I shrugged. "Peachy." She lowered her voice. "Emily's staying with me." I figured. She's a mess. I raised an eyebrow. "Not my problem." Sophie winced. "She's really—" "Sorry," I laughed, loud and ugly. "Sorry doesn't erase what she did." I know, she said quickly. "I'm just saying, maybe you could talk to her." "No," I said flatly. "She's not eating. She's crying all the time." Should have thought of that before. Sophie reached out like she wanted to touch my arm, then thought better of it. "You're not the bad guy here," she said. I forced a smile. "You'd be surprised how many people disagree." Her face crumpled. "Some people are idiots." "Yeah," I said, turning away. "They are." By noon, Jake called. "Family meeting's happening," he said. "Dad's about to lose it." "Good. You want to come?" I shook my head even though he couldn't see me. "Nah, this one's yours." "You sure?" "Positive." "All right." Jake sighed. "I'll call you after." 2 hours later, my phone rang again. Jake's voice was tight. "It's done." "What happened?" "Dad disowned him." I sat down heavily on the porch steps. "He really said that?" "Right to his face," Jake said. "Told him he wasn't welcome at home anymore." I rubbed my temples. "Damn." "He's out, man." "Totally." "Cut off." I let out a long breath. "He deserves worse." Jake's voice cracked a little. "Yeah." "Thanks," I said quietly. "For what?" "For picking a side." "You're my brother too, Daniel," Jake said. "Blood or not?" The line went quiet for a second. "Hang in there, man," Jake said before hanging up. That night I sat on my porch, a blanket wrapped around me even though it wasn't cold. My neighbor waved from across the street. I didn't wave back. I watched the cars pass, the streetlights blink. The world keeps spinning like nothing had happened. Inside, my heart was still broken. Inside, time had stopped. I leaned my head back against the railing, staring at the dark sky. I wasn't angry anymore. I was just empty. Completely and utterly empty. "So, Daniel," Dr. Lila Brooks said, tapping her pen against the notepad, "why are you here?" I shrugged, staring at the bland beige walls. "Because I'm supposed to be." She smiled gently. "That's not a real answer." I sighed. "Because my life exploded. And I don't know what to do next." "Good start," she said. "Tell me how it exploded." I laughed bitterly. "You want the long version or the short?" "Whatever you're ready for." I leaned back in the chair. "My wife cheated. With my best friend's brother." She nodded. "No judgment. Just acceptance." "And now?" she asked. I stared at the ceiling. "Now, I don't even know who I am anymore." Silence stretched between us. "You're still you," she said softly. "You've just been hurt." I scoffed. "Feels more like destroyed." "Pain doesn't erase who you are," she said. "It reveals it." I looked at her sharply. "What's that supposed to mean?" It means maybe it's time you figure out who Daniel is without her. I swallowed hard. I don't know if I can. You can, she said firmly, one step at a time. I laced up my sneakers, heart pounding. First step, run. I hadn't run in years. But today I needed to move. I jogged down the street, my legs burning, lungs screaming. Every footfall pounded a word into my head. Let her go. I kept going until the world blurred and my mind went blessedly blank. At the bookstore, I wandered aimlessly until a book caught my eye, Healing After Betrayal. I picked it up, flipping through the pages. A quote jumped out at me. "You are not what was done to you." I bought the book without thinking. Back in Dr. Brooks's office, she smiled as I showed her the cover. "Progress," she said. "I don't feel like progress." "You don't have to feel it yet, just keep moving." I nodded slowly. "Moving's hard." She leaned forward. "So is staying broken." I laughed under my breath. "Fair." Weeks passed. I ran every morning, even when my legs begged me to stop. I read every night, even when the words blurred. I started cooking again, cleaning, breathing. Slowly, the fog in my head began to lift, one painful, stubborn inch at a time. "How's the running?" Dr. Brooks asked one afternoon. I smirked. "Still awful, but less awful." "Good," she said. "How's the mind?" "Messy," I admitted. "But not drowning," she grinned. "That's the goal." I hesitated. "Sometimes I still think about her." "You're allowed to." "I hate that." "It's part of healing," she said. "You can't erase love just because it hurt you." I stared at my hands. "Will it always hurt?" She was quiet for a long moment. "No," she said finally. "But you'll never be the same. And that's okay." I nodded, swallowing the lump in my throat. One evening I stood on the porch watching the sunset bleed across the sky. My phone buzzed on the railing. A text from Jake. "Proud of you, man. Keep going." I smiled for real this time. Maybe life wasn't over, maybe it was just different, and maybe, just maybe, I could be okay with that. Jake slammed his coffee cup down. "Dude, you won't believe it." I raised an eyebrow. "Try me." "Nathan, fired, public scandal, it's all over town." I leaned back in my chair. "What happened?" Jake grinned. "Apparently he had a thing with the boss's wife." I snorted. "Of course he did." "Karma's got good aim," Jake said, shaking his head. "Didn't even have to lift a finger," I muttered. Jake leaned forward. "You good?" I shrugged. "Better than him." 2 days later, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I stared at it until it went to voicemail. Then came the text, "Daniel, please. Just talk to me, Emily." I deleted it without reading further. At the mailbox, a thick envelope waited for me. No return address. I already knew. Inside, her handwriting spilled across page after page. "I'm sorry, I miss you. I made a mistake. I still love you." I shoved the letter back in the envelope and stuffed it in my jacket. "Not today." That night, Jake called again. "You hear about Emily?" I sighed. "What now?" "Nathan cheated on her too." I let out a low whistle. "Didn't see that coming." "She's wrecked, man." "Not my problem." Jake hesitated. "You sure you're okay?" I looked out at the dark street. "I'm better than okay." The next morning I drove to the beach. The letter sat on the passenger seat like a weight. The ocean air hit me the second I opened the door. Seagulls screeched overhead. Waves crashed against the shore. I walked down to the waterline, the sand, cool under my sneakers. I pulled the letter out. Her words blurred in the wind, but I didn't need to read them. I already knew what they said. I struck a match, shielding it from the breeze. The flame flickered, small but fierce. I touched it to the corner of the letter. It caught quickly, the paper curling and blackening. I watched it burn, every word, every lie, every broken promise turning to ash. The wind carried the remains into the sky, gone just like her, just like the life we had. I stood there for a long time, breathing deep, letting the weight fall away. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need apologies. I didn't need her. I had myself. And that was enough. "Daniel, right?" the woman asked, her voice light. I looked up from the book in my hands. "Yeah," She smiled, setting her bag down. "You're holding my book." I blinked. "Oh, sorry. Here." She laughed. "No rush, just funny seeing someone else interested in it." I glanced at the cover. "Finding Light After Darkness." "I guess I'm still looking for light," I said, half joking. "Aren't we all?" she said, reaching for the book. Our fingers brushed. I pulled back quickly. "Sorry." "No worries," she said easily. "I'm Anna." "Daniel," I said again, feeling ridiculous. She tucked the book under her arm. "First time here?" I shook my head. "No. I come here when I need to breathe." "Same," she said, glancing around the cozy bookstore. "It's like therapy without the awkward silence." I chuckled. "I still do the therapy part too." Her eyes softened. "Good. Means you're smart enough to heal." I shrugged. "Mostly means I was tired of being broken." She tilted her head. "Sounds like a long story." "It is," I said, smiling faintly. "Not one I tell strangers." She held up her hands. "Fair enough. No deep dives on the first meeting." I nodded toward her book. "You read a lot of that stuff?" "More than I want to admit," she said with a laugh. "Grew up thinking life would be easy if I just tried hard enough." "Yeah," I said, "me too." Anna shifted the strap on her shoulder. "Anyway, sorry for ambushing you." "You didn't," I said quickly. "It's nice talking to someone real." Her smile widened. "Real is rare." We stood there awkwardly for a second. Finally, she said, "Maybe I'll see you around." "Maybe you will," I said. She gave a little wave and walked toward the register. I watched her go, something unfamiliar blooming quietly in my chest. That night I sat on the porch, the cool air wrapping around me like a blanket. Jake texted, "How's life, old man?" I typed back, "Getting better." I stared at the words before sending them, because they were true. For the first time in forever, they were actually true. At my next session, Dr. Brooks smiled as I settled into the chair. "You look lighter," she said. "I feel lighter," I admitted. "Good. What changed?" I thought about Anna, about the bookstore, about the way her smile didn't make me flinch. "Nothing big," I said. "Just me." Dr. Brooks nodded like she'd been expecting it all along. Days passed. I ran, read, worked, breathed. No drama, no chaos, just life. Simple, honest, real. One afternoon, I bumped into Anna again. This time, she held 2 coffee cups. "You look like you could use one," she said, offering me the extra. I grinned. "How bad do I look?" "Like someone who still thinks too much," she teased. I laughed. Guilty. We sat on a bench outside the bookstore, sipping coffee in comfortable silence. Finally, she said, "You know, sometimes starting over isn't about forgetting." I looked at her. "No? It's about remembering who you were before everything broke you." I stared at my coffee cup, her words sinking deep. "Yeah," I said softly. "Yeah, that sounds about right." She smiled, and we fell back into silence. No pressure, no expectations, just 2 people breathing the same air, and for the first time, I didn't feel lost. I felt found, maybe not by her, maybe not by anyone, but by myself, and that was enough. That would always be enough.